How's it going, you guys? It's Scott with Everyday Home Repairs, and today I'm just starting off on a project where I'm putting some LED recessed lights, these are 6 inches in diameter, into a living room on a renovation project where they never had any ceiling lights in this room. So this is going to make a huge difference, and it's only going to cost about $150 in materials. But the question that often comes up is, where do you put these things? You can drill your 6-inch hole anywhere, but how do you know where to put them for the best results? So there's 3 guidelines that I follow. Then, believe it or not, I use PowerPoint to kind of lay out this rectangular room and then position those lights where I want them, so I'm confident by the time I start cutting holes that I have the exact locations I want to minimize any rework later on. So let's jump in. I'll show you the specific project and also where you can get a copy of that PowerPoint file just in case it helps you with your project. So here is basically the finished product of my room layout, and really just paying attention to the dark blue circles because those would be the LED locations and the holes that I need to drill with a 6-inch hole saw. But how did I get there? So one, I will provide a way for you to get this template so you don't need to actually build it out yourself. Hopefully you can just grab the PowerPoint file from me and then you can change it to your room's dimensions. One note is this does really work for a square or rectangular room. If it's a complex room, multiple angles, probably not going to be the best tool for designing that out. But let me run through this. First off, what I did is I got the slide to be proportional to my room size. And the way I did that is I took the measurements of my room, which were 173 inches wide, and 220 inches in length or height here on the page setup. Then I went into PowerPoint, went to design, slide size, and a custom size, and I divided by 10. So that width now is 17.3, which is equivalent to the 173 inches in width for my room, and 22.8, which is equivalent, just scaled to the 22.8 for this slide. So now the slide is of the same size as my room. Then I started to look at my 3 guidelines. My 3 guidelines were the distance from the wall. I wanted to maintain 2 to 4 foot. I didn't want to get too close or you start to get a washout of the lighting like you would actually want if you had, let's say, a fireplace mantle or something you wanted to focus some light on. I just want even distribution of lighting, of light in this living room. Then the distance between each light is the ceiling height of your room divided by 2. My room is 8 foot in ceiling height, so I'm trying to maintain 4 foot between each light. And then roughly, if you want to know how many to order, you can take the square footage of your room and divide by 25 square foot to get the number of LED lights you need. Now in my case, this is actually quite a bit less. If I did the square footage divided by 25, I actually get 11 lights. I can show you here in a little bit, actually I can jump over now. This would be more suitable for what is recommended, maintaining that 4 foot between lights and doing 3 rows of LEDs. But I simplified the design and took a little bit of a trade-off in terms of maintaining that 4 foot, but overall it's going to be a better fit for this project. So how did I start to place these? One, I made 2 shapes, just rectangles, right? So I made 2 shapes here. This rectangle, which you can see if you go into shape format, you can see it is 3.6 inches high or 36 inches high for the room size. And then it's the width of the room, 17.3 or 173 inches. So I placed that rectangle at the top and did a same rectangle at the bottom. So I wanted to be 3 foot off this wall and 3 foot off this wall. Now to make it so I could reasonably have 2 rows, I made 2 more rectangles running the length of the room. But instead of 36 inches, these are 48 inches or 4.8 inches for this slide. And then they run the 228 inches or 22.8 inches for the length of the room. Then at the intersections, is where I was placing my 4 can lights, which were at each of the corners for these 2 rows. Then for my room, if we go down here, I needed to get the space between these corners basically and how to evenly space those out. So I took the 228 inches minus 36 away from one wall, minus 36 away from the other wall, and I got 156 inches. Then I took 156 divided by 3 because I knew I'd have 3 spaces, and I got 52 inches. So that's where then I made a additional rectangle or shape here, and then that shape size is 52 inches or 5.2, so 5.2 here, and then the width of the room. I copied and pasted those to make 2 more of the same one, and then just align those. Nice thing, and why I picked PowerPoint, 1, it's readily available software, and 2, it's pretty good at aligning things. It wants to snap things in, center things, align. It actually is fairly handy for this kind of, let's say, non-professional design work. So that's really where I was getting my positions. So I knew when I laid out the blue tape within my living room that I was going to be 48 inches away from this wall and 36 inches away from this wall, and that's where I wanted to center the first hole that I would drill for my recessed light. Then I would space out again 48 inches away from the wall, but 88 inches away from this wall because I'm taking the 36 inches plus another 52 inches, and then I just did the same for here. And then I did the same for here, just measuring from this wall, 88 inches. And that's it. That's how I got all my positions. That's how I designed it out. Again, you can do more with this tool, such as, let's say you had a fireplace mantle that you wanted to account for and kind of figure out where to position those lights. So I just copied and pasted another rectangle into the space. I'm going to change its color. So maybe I'll go with like a dark gray. I can change its transparency if I want to make it darker just to stand out because it's going to be just a fireplace mantle. Then if I want to go, let's say this is only 12 inches by 6. Or yeah, let's do 5 foot or 60 inches. Okay, so now I have a 12-inch in length and then a 60-inch or 5 foot in width. Again, it's going to help to center things up for you. So here I could place my fireplace, and then I could start to work with maybe placing 2 additional can lights. Again, I was just copying and pasting. And then you can use the arrows or your cursor to start to place those. And then that's going to help you to start aligning these. If you want to basically get some focus lighting on your mantle. Okay, now one other thing is if you want to start measuring distances, you can go into the View tab, make sure your guides are on, and then it will give you these cross sections. What that can do is you can go off to the side of the slide and start to drag this line, and you'll see that you'll have a measurement off to the left-hand side. So if I wanted to get a measurement from these lights down to these lights, I can just get the position here and subtract that from here, and then that starts to get my position so I can start marking these on the ceiling. So this is really how you would you can use these crosshairs to start getting the accurate position, and that's going to be relative to the 0 point, so the middle of the room here. You'll see this is zeroed out. And that's how I got the plan for the location of the recessed lights within the living room space. So if you're still with me, something tells me you're pretty serious about doing this project, which I think is awesome. From a DIY perspective and bang for your buck, $150 or $200 investment, and you're really going to get that return in terms of the usability and comfort of your space, but also resale value. I think it's a great project to take on. And if you want to go much deeper, a few things to note. One, if you want that file, that PowerPoint template, if that will help you out, you need to jump over to Facebook, and we have a Facebook group called Everyday Home Repairs Community, and then I'll make a post which attaches that file. Then you can have it, you can change it to your room size, change around your rectangles, change around your spacing, but at least you don't have to recreate the whole template. Two, I have a much larger video that I'm finishing up now, and that's gonna go from start to finish of taking a room with no ceiling lights and how to get that switch wired up, how to get the lights installed, obviously talking a little bit on how to position them, but not diving that deep into the template, and how to drill the holes without making a huge mess, and just the whole process of getting those recessed lights installed. So check it out on our channel. You'll see that video, and that will walk you through the full process, which will help you out if you're gonna take on that project. And lastly, don't forget to be subscribed to our channel, as you'll see those notifications coming out as we release new videos on this project, but also many other videos that will help you with your repairs and improvements around the house. And we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.